So I've just watched the finale of Game of Thrones for the second time, and wow, it is all over. Now, there will be spoilers for Season 8 and, well, obviously the finale, so if you haven't seen it, don't watch this. And before you start typing out your comment, yes, I can see you typing the comment right now. You're typing, this was rushed. This was poorly written. This was shit. This isn't what we deserved after 10 years of amazing storytelling. Look, I get it. Okay, I get it. I'm a little disappointed with how Season 8 went and how the finale ended. But you know what? It's over. Get over it, okay? You have two choices. You can keep moaning about how you wished it changed and how all this stuff changed and happened, or you can just accept that the story has come to an end. For the show, at least. I'm sure the books will be completely different, and you can moan about the books after that as well. Anyway, so I'm going to talk about the finale. I've never done like a episode review or talked about the show that much on my channel, besides when I'm actually recording games which are in the universe of Game of Thrones, where I do talk about the show a fair bit. But anyway, I will probably do a separate video for Season 8 overall, but for the finale itself, let's just get started. So obviously, the city is a mess. There's just burnt corpses everywhere. It's quiet. There's not something I noticed instantly. There was no sound. It was quiet. It was dead quiet. You know, seeing Jon and Tyrion walk through the city of King's Landing, seeing all these dead bodies. It was dark. It was so dark. Seeing a man like completely burnt from head to toe, and I'm pretty sure his back was like opened up as well, just walking past, just like the horror of what had just happened. And then you see like someone crying as it was insane. Tyrion, I think, saved this episode. Not that it needed saving. I think he was just fantastic from the start to the end. Tyrion Lannister, by far my favorite character at the end of everything that's happened. Seeing him, trying to find out if Jaime did escape, finding his hand, and then, then seeing, Jaime and Cersei, his two siblings dead, that hit me hard, and I did tear up. I'm not really an emotional person, but we've seen these characters for the last 10 years develop, and they've gone through so many things together, these three, and to see him, to see Jaime dead as well, and Cersei was quite, a hard thing to see, being such big characters throughout the last 10 years. And then Tyrion just taking his frustration out, it was really sad. It really got to me. Following up to a scene that comes up afterwards. I'm not going to talk about every individual scene, but I'm only going to focus on things that I found interesting. Tyrion just like ripping off his Hand of the King badge, throwing it down the stairs. You can see some of the Unsullied, which are still like cheering by stamping their spears, and then they sort of stop because one of them was like, what the hell did he just do? I thought that was so badass. You could tell Tyrion did not give a shit about anything. He was so disappointed. He's put so much love and faith into Daenerys, and she's done this horrible thing, and he's just like, screw you. My siblings are dead. It's just. I thought it was really powerful, and I just love seeing that. That sort of like, I don't give a shit right in front of her, especially in front of her army. And a dragon. No shit's given. I thought Jon was very Jon this episode, or very Stark-like. I think I like to think Jon, Ned, and Robb Stark are like literally identical. They're all about honor, and you can tell even when Jon, even after everything that happened, he was still loyal to his queen, and it was just like, bloody hell, God, look what she's done. How can you still be loyal? And he's trying to defend her at the same time. It's like, oh, she's my queen. Jon, she just burnt hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. Shut up. Those two in the throne room, I honestly, Daenerys was really just like, if she did not get killed, I probably would have flipped my desk. And the thing is, I think, the reason why I think people are so like, why did Daenerys do all this, I think because the show was only 6 episodes, if this was a 10 episode season or even 8, just to have that a bit more extra time to see Daenerys getting to that sort of mad queen status, I think it would have made a lot more sense. We didn't see it enough on screen. On the screen, it's just she sort of went from, pretty normal to completely insane, and that's what we saw. obviously she's lost a lot of people that meant a lot to her. Jorah, at the Battle of Winterfell, she lost Missandei literally right in front of her. Everything that's happened throughout the last 10 years. And I think Tyrion made a very big comment. When he was talking to Jon about how, every time she's done something like this, she's always been, seen as a hero, and and it's always made her look stronger and feel stronger. And to be honest, she probably thinks she did the right thing. She's like, oh yeah, they're just people, I had to do it, but I don't know. I felt like if we just had a little bit more storytelling, a little bit more, and a bit more time, I felt like a lot of this wouldn't feel as rushed, and it would have made a bit more sense. Jon killing Dany, I think, was massive. It was quite hard to see, and it's just like that, and she was gone. There's no like final word. It was just it, and then obviously Drogon coming in and going like, what the fuck, you just killed my mum. But at the same time though, like, I don't know, he seemed to understand. I think Drogon melting the Iron Throne, like it was cool, but like, obviously the meaning behind it is that Drogon obviously understands that the reason why she's dead is because of this throne. She was so obsessed with this throne that it got her killed. So he's just like, screw this, I'm melting it to, yeah, which you saw. And I don't know where he took her. He flew off. And they even mentioned at the end of the episode that she, like, they've seen in Essos somewhere east. And Bran's like, I'll find her, don't worry. I mean, I'll find him, as in the dragon. So there's a bit of a time jump. I think it's like a few weeks, and there's like this small meeting of all like sort of like the main houses, all like the highest ranked people in the kingdom at this current time. And it was weird seeing Edmure Tully again. Obviously everyone knows who Edmure Tully is. Haven't seen him in a very long time. Actually, no, we haven't seen him since the siege of Riverrun, but obviously before that, which was the Red Wedding. Which was a pretty big event. It was weird seeing Yara still defend Daenerys as well. She wasn't very happy about what Jon did, and she's like, he deserves it. Tyrion's speech again was fantastic, and him naming we need a king, and naming Bran. Up until that point where you were saying someone who's had a big story, I really think there's so many people, even sitting here right now, who have had a more interesting story than Bran. Yeah, he got thrown out a tower, he got crippled, and he made look, he did go beyond the wall, but he was dragged. He was dragged by a girl. Let's not give all the credit to Bran. He really didn't do much. He just sat there and got dragged all the way and did literally nothing. And I honestly thought he was going to say Jon. Because if you think about Jon, I was going to talk about Jon in a bit at the end anyway, but I'll sort of get into it. Jon is literally grown up as a bastard. He joined the Night's Watch. He went beyond the wall. He joined the Free Folk. He came back. He fell in love. He saw his partner get literally murdered in front of him. He became the Lord Commander. He got killed by his brothers. He got brought back to life. He fought for the North. He saw his youngest brother, Rickard, get murdered right in front of him. He became king of the North. He then met Daenerys, fell in love with her, rode a dragon, fought at the Battle of Winterfell, fought at the King's Landing, and so much. I think out of anyone, I think Jon's had the biggest story. So I was literally thinking he's gonna say Jon, but it would have made sense. And then he said to Bran, I was like, like it makes sense. Like Bran's literally done nothing this entire. Well, he hasn't done anything for a very long time, but it makes sense. And I actually, what, I was kind of happy with it, because even if he did say Jon didn't want to be king. He wouldn't have been king. He would have been a terrible king. But at the same time, though, Bran literally a few episodes ago said, "I can never be a lord," and I was just like, does that make sense? Sansa being Sansa, obviously, I think it was very clear. Like she wanted the North to be its own, it's like do its own thing, and I thought that was very cool, and it was kind of expected. But good on Sansa. She's had an amazing story, and now that she's like Queen of the North, I think is I think is awesome. Arya, I honestly thought, I guess this is skipping to the very end, but yeah, Jon getting sent. I'll get to that, but Jon getting sent to the wall, I thought was quite funny because it's kind of like, you know, back to the beginning. And again, everything I said before about Jon, how I really think he's a really broken man, if you think about it. And I'm going to kind of repeat myself. He literally got raised as a bastard in a very noble northern family. You know his his mum, well, not really his mum, but you know, Catelyn didn't really treat him well at all. He joins the Night's Watch because he thinks it's, you know, the best thing to do. He's close with Uncle Benjen, who literally disappears instantly, and he's not seen. He gets bullied and treated like absolute crap at Castle Black. And obviously we know everything that happens, but up to that point, joins the Free Folk, comes back, falls in love with Ygritte on the way as well. She gets killed, and then I can't remember how he becomes Lord Commander, but then he gets murdered, and it's just like, oh my god. Oh, I completely forgot, he goes to Hardhome and he kills a White Walker. Escapes that, and then obviously everything, Battle of the Bastards, King of the North, Battle of Winterfell, you name it. And then up to the point he kills the person he loves, and he's always tries to do the right thing, and he always keeps failing. He's always done what he thought is right, and I think that's just, it's kind of heartbreaking to see, because no matter what he does, he's always getting punished. And I really feel for him, you know, Jon. I think he's been an amazing character. He's just too bloody noble. He's too loyal. But yeah, him killing Daenerys, I think, completely broke him. And you can see like after what he did to Daenerys, he just has that look, and I think it's fantastic acting on Kit Harington's part, that he just looks so broken. Seeing him go back to Castle Black and seeing him in his old robes again was quite nostalgic. We haven't seen that in a very long time. And to see Tormund again was great. I really wish he had something to say. I don't think he said anything at the end there. Seeing him pat Ghost as well was quite nice. I know that annoyed a lot of people. That he didn't pat her before he went down south. And yeah, and I'm really happy the show ended exactly where it started, you know, leaving you know, going past the wall and off into the forest. And I think you also see this green plant sort of, you know, come to life through the snow, and it sort of shows that it is going to start getting warmer, and it should be a bit nicer up in the north. Let's talk about Arya. I honestly thought when she said she wasn't going north that she was going down south. I thought she was going to go and get in with Gendry and be, you know, Lady of Storm's End. But obviously, again, that wouldn't really make sense. You know, she's definitely not that right type of person. The fact that she's going west, well, west of Westeros, I thought was different and exciting, because this definitely opens up opportunities. You know, Maisie Williams is a very young actor still, and I think there's definitely an opportunity there where she could have her own show off in the West, and there's literally anything that can happen, you know. So I see that as an opportunity to maybe a future series, maybe 5-10 years down the line. Obviously, like, even though Game of Thrones is ended, I still think this is the beginning of something massive. I think this is the amount of spin-offs that we can get. There's so much story and lore, you know, in you know, the history of Game of Thrones, that you can make thousands of series. I'm sure. You know, there's so many amazing just stories and characters and that we haven't seen yet. So I'm really looking forward to the future. Overall, yeah, look, season 8 was disappointing, but I'll talk about that another time. I think I might just go through episode to episode for those who may be interested. And obviously, one of the other final scenes, seeing Tyrion at the High Council, you know, being handed the king and all. Seeing Bronn made me the happiest man alive. Bronn has been my favourite character since, well, pretty much since we saw him. I think he was such an interesting character, and I've seen interviews with George Martin saying that he wasn't really planned to be a big character. He just sort of he needed a character, and he just sort of became interesting. And I think Bronn, especially the actor, I can't remember his name, but absolutely fantastic, hilarious. he got his fucking castle. He got his castle in the end, but he Lord of Highgarden, so he's done very, very well for himself. Master of Coins, though, I wasn't sure about that, but, you know, I don't care. It's funny. Seeing Brienne as well write some stuff about Jaime Lannister actually got me really emotional, almost as emotional as seeing, you know, almost as emotional as the part where Tyrion found, you know, his siblings dead. I think that was a really big scene, and that's kind of go back. That does go back quite a few seasons. I think season 3 maybe, when Joffrey's going through the book, and he started talking about, you know, Sir Arthur Dayne and all the things he's done, and it comes to Sir Jaime, and so it's kind of empty. And you even see the last thing that's put there is I actually can't remember. I can't actually remember, but I don't know. It was really nice to see Brienne write those things about him, because I think out of everyone, Brienne saw the best side of Jaime, and she knows more about Jaime than anyone else, and it was really, really awesome thing to see. And check out the new Kingsguard armor. I thought that was awesome. Also seeing Podrick in Kingsguard armor made me so happy. I thought that was brilliant. I really do love the new look, and it does make sense. It's sort of like the new era of Kingsguard. You know, we've seen 3 types of Kingsguard in the show. We saw, you know, the one back in time with Sir Arthur Dayne with like the silver and the sort of the black, you know, clothes underneath, and then we saw, you know, the typical Kingsguard, which we've seen throughout the entire season. Actually, no, we saw 4, didn't we? So because we had the Queensguard, which was like black and silver, and then we had obviously, you know, the new one, which is sort of going back to the gold, which I thought was really cool. So very happy to see that. And Sir Davos being at the table as well made a lot of sense, and seeing Sam as well, you know. Seeing Sam as a maester was really cool to see as well. It looked like he was supposed to wear it, and it was awesome. So yeah. I think that's about it. I'm quickly, you know, I'm trying to think through. I guess the Unsullied going to Narth, you know, that was the original plan with Grey Worm and Missandei. Again, I'm not sure what they're gonna do there. You know, there's, you know, about, you know, like 1,000 veteran warriors with no dicks. I don't know what they're gonna do there, but it's a nice thought. I'm assuming that the Dothraki go back to Essos and go be, you know, Dothraki. And yeah. So overall, you know, I did feel a little bit satisfied. You know, when the episode ended, I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel upset. I actually did feel satisfied. I know that's not the same for a lot of people, and it actually kind of pisses me off seeing how many people are just talking smack about it. I get it, okay? Out of everyone, I get it. I have talked smack myself. But at the same time, though, are you going to let one season, which is, you know, ruin the last, you know, 10 years of amazing storytelling and acting and visual effects? You know, I'm not, okay? Game of Thrones, I think I'm lucky to be alive in the era of a show like this. I don't think I'm ever going to see a show on this level ever again. And if I do, I'm going to be a very, very lucky man to see 10 years of storytelling, and at this level of TV show, I think is amazing. So thank you to everyone at Game of Thrones, all the actors and the storytellers. Yeah, look, your last season was a bit disappointing and rushed, but you know what? I'm happy, I'm satisfied, and yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I know a lot of you are going to probably disagree with me, and you're gonna say some very, very nasty things about the show in the comment section, and I'm ready to read all of them. But if you're like me, just accept that it's come to an end, and it's time to move on. And yeah, and on to the next adventure. Guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm going to talk about Season 8 in a different video, and I'll see you soon.